Hello and welcome. This is AMECO Haber English Service and you're watching our daily updates. I'm Gaila Damu. Do stay with us. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission urged the regional and federal government of Ethiopia to stop the massive human rights violations committed in Oromia region. The commission labeled the ongoing human rights violation in Oromia region as a grave violation of human rights. According to the statement released, the right to life continues to be in the worst danger at the national level, especially in the Oromia region since last year. Due to the human rights violations committed by the armed forces in the government security forces, civilians have suffered deaths, physical injury, displacement, and robbery. In its statement, the Commission stated that areas that have been experiencing conflict under the supervision of the Commission are West Wallagga, East Wallagga, Horo Gudru Wallagga, Kellam Wallagga, West Shawa, East Shawa, Arusi, North Shawa, Illo Babur, and Buno Badale zones have been experiencing the human rights violations. The fact is that the armed groups operating in these areas have shown a tendency to increase the atrocity, become more complex in terms of their type and number. The Commission said that the violation of human rights caused by the conflicts and attacks in the Oromia region can be classified as a grave violation of human rights. The Commission urged the federal government of Ethiopia and Oromia regional state to work jointly to give a lasting response. President Sahlawork Zewde has reaffirmed Ethiopia's commitment to contribute to the maintenance of international peace and security. Abeba Brahani has the details.
The President made the remark at the 24th Eastern Africa Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization General Meeting underway here in Addis Ababa. Attended by 14 Eastern African countries, the meeting is being held under the theme Promoting Best Policing Practices in the Fight Against Terrorism and Transnational Organized Crime in East Africa Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization region and beyond. During the occasion, President Sahlawork said Ethiopia has been working to maintain peace in the region and prevent transnational organized crimes in the region.
Ethiopia has been an active participant in global counter-terrorism efforts and is committed to enhancing law enforcement cooperation and international security. For instance, Ethiopia is one of the major troop-contributing countries, both to the African Union and the United Nations. It has demonstrated by doing so that Ethiopia is really committed to maintaining, to contributing to the maintenance of international peace and security.
The President said that the region has been facing many challenges in terms of transnational organized crimes, including terrorism, cyber crimes, human trafficking, among others, which are serious threats to regional border integrity and economic development at large.
We have many challenges in terms of transnational organized crimes across the region. It is evident that currently the prevalence of terrorism, extremism, corruption, cybercrime, human trafficking, and drug trafficking, among other things, are serious threats to our regional security, border integrity, and economic development at large. Due to the fact that our regional and continental security cooperation is critical to global law enforcement, we need to work hard for our law enforcement agencies to be more innovative and proactive to fight cross-border crimes and minimize security threats.
Ethiopian Federal Police Commissioner General Demelash Gebre Mikael, who received the presidency of the Union from Democratic Republic of Congo, stated that the future focus of the organization will be strengthening cooperation between member countries. He also said that conducting joint operation in the fight against organized crime and providing collective solutions to the issues raised by member countries, as well as building the capacity of police officers, will be the other focus areas.
As your new chairperson, I will work diligently to strengthen our cooperation to combat the serious transnational organized crime we face in our region. As your new chairperson, our focus area would be strengthen cooperation between member countries, sharing intelligence, conducting joint operations against organized criminals, providing collective solutions to the issue raised by member countries, and building the capacity of our young police officers in the Ethiopian Police University, the oldest police university in Africa, as well as in other member countries' police academy.
Interpol representative at the African Union, Francis Xavier, expressed his organization's readiness to further help secure the region from the threats of terrorism and transnational organized crimes through sustainable operational support.
Interpol has further demonstrated its intention to secure the region from the threat of terrorism and transnational organized crime through sustained operational support throughout the year. Among the Interpol-led operations that were carried out in AMECO in the year 2022 include the following.
The Eastern African Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization is a regional police body whose membership consists of chiefs of police of 14 countries. It is comprised of Ethiopia, Eritrea, Kenya, Sudan, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Somalia, Seychelles, Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania, Comoros, and Burundi. The Eastern Africa Police Chiefs Cooperation Organization was established in 1998 in Kampala with the aim of harmonizing, strengthening police cooperation and joint strategies, sharing of crime-related information and harmonization of laws in order to enhance the capacity of law enforcement agencies to combat transnational organized crimes.
Ethiopian Electric Power said it envisages cooperation and mutual growth by exporting electric power to neighboring countries. Ethiopian Electric Power Chief Executive Officer Ashabir Balcha told Ethiopian News Agency that Ethiopia's power export to neighboring countries envisages strengthening mutual cooperation and growing together. Modom Liye tells us more.
The Chief Executive Officer said Ethiopian Electric Power is making adequate preparations to expand cooperation with neighboring countries through power integration. In addition to economy, this power integration covers many aspects that benefit neighboring countries, he added. If we take Somaliland and South Sudan, for example, they mostly generate electricity using diesel. So they will benefit a lot by importing energy from Ethiopia, which is cheap and also contributes to the reduction of air pollution in the region, Ashabir elaborated. According to him, the importance of connecting neighboring countries with energy is not only for export purposes, but also for the benefit of growing together. The Chief Executive Officer, who recalled that Africa 2063 vision envisages connecting African countries through economic and social interactions, said the government of Ethiopia has invested more in power generation and transmission lines than in other countries in the sub-regions. Ethiopia is currently generating over 4,800 megawatts of electric power and plans to exponentially increase it to 17,000 megawatts in 2030, it was learned. The country mainly generates a comparatively affordable and clean hydroelectric power that it seeks to integrate with neighboring countries. It now exports only about 10 to 15%. Ashabir revealed when the ongoing public and private power development projects, including the grid, become fully operational, Ethiopia's effort to integrate the region with electricity will be significantly large. The biggest challenge is infrastructure development, and the countries should work together because we should be able to use the Eastern Africa power pool and export energy to other neighboring countries to generate a large amount of income, the Chief Executive Officer elaborated. By extending its power transmission grids to neighboring countries, Ethiopia has demonstrated its solidarity with African countries by trying to spearhead sub-regional economic integrations and cooperation in the spirit of Pan-Africanism.
The Ethio-Djibouti Railway is catalyzing regional integration and facilitates Ethiopia's import and export logistics. Ethio-Djibouti Railway Chief Executive Officer Abdi Zennaba said the Ethio-Djibouti Railway is catalyzing regional economic integration and covering 15% of Ethiopia's import and export logistic facilitation over the last 3 months. Fikradi Zaudu tells us more.
In an exclusive interview with Ethiopian news agency, Ethio-Djibouti Railway CEO Abdi Zennaba stated that the Ethio-Djibouti Railway has been expanding and diversifying its services. He stated the Ethio-Djibouti Railway has been transporting very critical commodities to and from Ethiopia, adding that as part of diversifying services, it has started transporting vehicles and fertilizer, and it will soon start transportation of sugar and other important commodities.
Ethio-Djibouti Railway transport company has multiple purposes that serves in the Horn of Africa region, and one of the most important one is to bring about regional integration between the two countries. And of course, regional integration is part and parcel of the Continental Free Trade Agreement, and this is a practical demonstration.
Abdi stated economic aspect is one of the focus areas of the Ethio-Djibouti Railway, adding that on the Ethiopian side, the company has been playing a very prominent role in supporting the primary export item coffee, and almost 89% of coffee is transported through the Ethio-Djibouti Railway.
In the last quarter, we have able to try to cover 15% of the overall import and export logistics of the country from the Ethiopian side. We have witnessed major progress in the terms of the freight transportation, but we need to enhance our capability and efficiency in passenger transportation.
Noting that regional integration is one of the crucial elements that connects the Horn of Africa with the rest of Africa, Abdi stressed the Ethio-Djibouti Railway always gives priority for this important component of its purpose. Speaking of the services it rendered with regard to facilitating efficient and effective import and export transport and logistics, the CEO said that the Ethio-Djibouti Railway has been working hard. Ethio-Djibouti Railway, established in April 2017 as a share company between Ethiopia and Djibouti, was inaugurated by former Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn in January 2018.
You're watching AMECO Haber English service, and now let's proceed to news beyond borders. Thousands of Somalis cross over to Kenya fleeing drought and insecurity. According to the UN Refugee Agency UNHCR, over 80,000 Somalis have arrived in Kenya in the past 2 years, fleeing a complex mix of conflict and drought. As drought grips the Horn of Africa region, tens of thousands of Somalis are crossing over into Kenya in search of water and food for their families. Somali families escaping drought at home continue to cross the border into neighboring Kenya as the Horn of Africa region faces its worst drought in 40 years. Nearly 1 million people are displaced in Somalia. Over 80,000 Somalis have also arrived in Kenya in the past 2 years, fleeing a complex mix of conflict and drought. More than 50,000 Somali refugees who have arrived in recent years are in dire need of support. UNHCR is providing basic assistance and supporting local Kenyans with the provision of water and other aid. Kenya has provided international protection to refugees from across the region for more than 3 decades and currently hosts over 500,000 refugees and asylum seekers. Mozambique ex-president's son and 10 others jailed over corruption. 19 people, including state security officials, went on trial for a hidden date scandal that crushed the country's economy. Burhan Workana presents the details.
It's a financial scandal that crashed Mozambique's economy. A court has now begun to deliver its verdict against 19 former officials who are accused of crimes that include money laundering and bribery.
A court in Mozambique has sentenced the son of a former president 2 ex-spy bosses and 8 others to use in prison for their part in a corruption scandal in which the government sought to conceal huge debts, triggering financial havoc. The 11 were found guilty and sentenced on Wednesday on charges related to a $2 billion hidden debt scandal which saw hundreds of millions of dollars in government-backed loans disappear and crash the southern African nation's economy. 19 individuals, including state security officials, were put on trial on charges such as money laundering, bribery and blackmail. The remaining 8 were acquitted by the court in Maputo. Armando Dambi Gubeza, son of former President Armando Gubeza, was sentenced to 11 years in prison, while others who were convicted were handed sentences of between 10 and 12 years. Armando Dambi showed no remorse for committing the crime, and he maintains that he has been targeted for political reasons, Judge Baptista of the Maputo City Court said. Dambi still does not reckon that he wrongly benefited from $33 million that the Mozambican people badly need. 2 top intelligence service officials, General Director Gregorio Leo and head of the economic unit Antonio Carlos do Rosario, were also each sentenced to 12 years in prison. Leo and do Rosario were found guilty of embezzlement and abuse of power, while Dambi was convicted for embezzlement, money laundering and criminal association, among other charges. The judge said those convicted had by their actions helped impoverish Mozambique's people. The scandal arose after state-owned companies in the impoverished country illicitly borrowed $2 billion in 2013 and 2014 from international banks to buy a tuna fishing fleet and surveillance vessels. The government masked the loans from Parliament and the public. When the hidden debt finally surfaced in 2016, the International Monetary Fund and other donors cut off financial support, triggering a sovereign debt default and currency collapse. An independent audit found $500 million of the loans had been diverted. Former President Gubeza, who was in office when the loans were contracted, testified at the trial but was not seen in court on Wednesday. During the proceedings, Baptista said Dambi acted deliberately to exert influence on his father and get the government to approve the purchase of the vessels. He took a $33 million bribe that went to satisfy his desire for luxury, the judge said, listing some of the assets the former president's son acquired with the money. They included luxury cars and a 10 million rand or 519,000 mansion in neighboring South Africa. Besides being sentenced to jail, the younger Gubeza was ordered to pay a fine of $2,500. Dozens of people, including anti-corruption activists and civil campaigners, sat in the courtroom, a makeshift facility set up in a white marquee to accommodate defendants, their lawyers and other parties. Former Finance Minister Manuel Chang, who signed off the loans, has been held in South Africa since 2018. Pending extradition to the United States for the allegedly using the U.S. financial system to carry out the fraudulent scheme.
That's all the news we have for today. I'm Gaila Damu. Thanks for watching and stay tuned with the rest of our programs.